Hi there, it's Laura back again with another Financial Fun Friday and our frequently asked questions. Today we're going to talk about the different documents that I'm going to have to collect from you for your loan. And this process can seem very invasive and like a lot of paperwork. So hopefully this will help you understand what we will need and why we will need it, because some of it just may not make sense, but hopefully this will explain it. So the first thing that I'm going to ask you for is documentation of your assets. And most of the time we do this through bank statements. So I'm going to ask you to see what funds you have available. And that could be you saving up your down payment, any money that you have towards closing costs, any of those kinds of things. So those statements are good for those funds, but also to show what we call reserves. So a lot of times if your credit score is a little bit lower, we can show that you have funds and reserves. So maybe some extra savings outside of what you'll be using for the loan to kind of strengthen your file. With those, we have to document any non-payroll deposits that are larger. Now, if your grandma gives you $20 for your birthday, that's a little bit different than you magically have $3,000 in your account. So just know that you can't go take your cash out of your safe or anything like that. It has to be documented. The second thing that I'm going to ask you for are your income documents. So I'm going to ask you for 30 days worth of pay stubs, and I'm also going to ask you for your last 2 years W-2s and probably your tax returns as well. Especially if you are self-employed or commission-based, I will need to see your business and personal tax returns so that we can verify your income. So those are going to help us verify the employment history for you and also make sure there's no red flags with your income. So if you tell me that you make $50,000 a year and your November 1st pay stub shows that you only have made $10,000 for the year, you're obviously not on track to make that amount. So we need to do a little bit more digging and make sure we see what's going on. So with that too, the question we get a lot, self-employment and any borrowers that are commission-based. So think car salesman, furniture salesman, any kind of sales folks that get a commission, that income we have to be able to show you've had for 2 years. And so basically the reason we do that is we kind of average it out. Maybe you had a good year and then a bad year. Well, guess what? We'll average that out and it'll be an okay 2 years kind of a thing. So we make sure that that income is going to be coming in and kind of get a good wide picture of that income over those 2 years. Another thing I'm going to ask you for is your driver's license. And so real estate is actually one of the biggest ways that money is laundered. So a lot of cash exchanging hands, ways to make money legitimate, that kind of a thing. The ID just helps so that we can do our due diligence with the Patriot Act and make sure that you are who you say you are and that you're able to buy real estate. Other things that may or may not pertain to you, I'm going to need to see any documents related to a recent bankruptcy, any divorce decrees, or any child support orders. So with the bankruptcy documents, we just make sure that all the appropriate timeline has passed and that there's nothing funky in there that you're still paying on, any of those kinds of things. We just need to know of any obligations you have. Same with divorce decrees and child support orders. We need to make sure that we know about anything you have to pay. So if you have to pay a spouse alimony, you're paying child support, we need to be able to count that towards in consideration for the loan. So we make sure that we have the legal document showing what that is. Also, along with those, we need to show proof of obligation on any other properties that you own. The most common way we run into this is if someone is going to be selling their house after they buy a new house, so they need to be able to show both payments. So typically we take care of that with a mortgage statement, especially if your taxes and insurance are in your escrow account. It shows your total payment. If you own a property free and clear, we have to show the taxes and the insurance because we all know that we're going to be paying real estate taxes no matter what. So we do have to show those. Sometimes we run into it where mom or dad, grandma or grandpa have put you on the title for a property that maybe it's a family property, part of an inheritance, any of those kinds of things. We do still have to show you're obligated if you currently have any ownership interest in that property. So if our system is showing that you own that or the county is showing that you own that, we have to get more documentation on that. So none of these are bad things, just all things I kind of like people to know about ahead of time so that they can get the proper documentation in order. So if you would like a specific list of these properties, I have a really great document that I can send you via email or text that kind of lays this out. Some people just need that extra time to locate those, but I'm happy to talk with you specifically about your situation. because maybe the child support order does not apply to you, or maybe you're receiving child support income and want to talk about how that will affect the loan. So I'd be happy to do that. Give me a call or shoot me a text, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great week.